everybody. This is Dr. Lori Shemek.
And I'm Omar Cumberbatch. You're listening to This Podcast Burns Fat. Hey, Lori, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful, Omar. Super excited to have our HGH guy on the show today.
Yeah, no, this is going to be really exciting because I wanted to actually jump in and just mention this too. And I did a little bit in the beginning of the podcast as well. It's like, if you're a female, do not turn off the show.
Because, right. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, because everyone hears HGH and they get freaked out and they're thinking about steroids and all other kinds of stuff. And that's not the case.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. His name is Dustin Baker, and he has a lot of information, really healthy information to share today regarding HGH and more. So he's going to help us optimize our hormone health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to sharing Dustin with you. So let's jump into the show.
Sounds great.
Hey, Dustin, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Oh man, I'm very well. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, Dustin, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do specifically for your company, and a little bit about the background of HGH.
Yeah, sure. So I am the president of BioProtein Technology. We focus on non-synthetic alternatives to today's most common pharmaceutical drugs. I run basically day-to-day operations from the top down. My primary focus of what I do is brand development, product development, and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So our number one product, which we're here today talking about, is a non-synthetic alternative to prescription HGH. That is our claim to fame, our coup de grace. So that's what we're here to talk about today.
All right. Because I know that's something that growing up in the 80s myself, it was kind of vilified, and it was like the steroid era, it was all kinds of weird stuff. So before we dive into HGH specifically, can you just make the female people in our audience a little bit more comfortable about that? It has a very, very important role in women's health as well.
Yeah, 100%. So it's important to know that we've been providing our products to the medical community since 2009. So this is none of this stuff is new. What's interesting is for a very large portion of that time, females have been the predominant users of our products in the medical anti-aging space, especially with female physicians. Our products are super, super popular. The notion of steroids and bodybuilders and like muscles and that stuff, it has its place with any type of performance enhancing drug. But where we focus on is anti-aging, longevity, everything from skin to metabolism, fat loss, even stress reduction and cortisol relief. So it's not just for guys looking to enhance performance in the gym. It absolutely has that application. We absolutely provide our products for application like that. But in the medical space, it is very, very commonly used, men and women both equally, for anti-aging, skin health, hair health, overall health and wellness, fat loss, sleep, anxiety, depression, and cortisol relief.
Wow, that's an amazing, wonderful list, like a wish list, really. And what is, I guess, HGH for those that don't know, and how does it help us in terms of optimizing 100%. Our health? Yeah.
So, and it still blows my mind to this day, and I've been doing this for years, how commonly human growth hormone, or HGH, is overlooked when any individual visits any type of health wellness professional, physician, or MD or DO on longevity, health and wellness. We always hear the terms for men, testosterone, and women, estrogen. Those hormones, testosterone is dominant in men, estrogen is dominant in females. And all the time we are stepping over the master hormone, which is human growth hormone, which is equally dominant in not only men, but women as well. And a super common thing that people just don't know is that as we age, estrogen for women, testosterone for men decrease. Now, When we go to physicians, we're always looking at optimizing those hormone levels. And many times physicians will put men and women on testosterone or estrogen. However, without adequately looking at human growth hormone levels, without those adequate levels, you cannot exert the benefits of natural estrogen or testosterone or exogenous, meaning pharmaceutical testosterone or estrogen. So you can take those drugs all you like. If you don't have adequate human growth hormone in men and women, you actually cannot exert the full benefits of those treatments or even your own estrogen or testosterone that naturally occurs.
So the human growth hormone is like a precursor to each one of the testosterone and estrogen?
So actually, no, not at all. It's a completely separate hormone. So hormones, we'll take a step back. So hormones are chemicals that your body releases to create or be a catalyst to start some sort of physiological change. That's what they do. Human growth hormone is secreted in the pituitary gland in your brain, and then it gets sent to the liver to be metabolized, and its metabolites are actually what are called growth factors. Now, growth factors are little protein cytokines, so these little protein strands that are sent out into the blood, and all they do, their entire job, is to signal different cells in different parts of the body to do different things. For instance, you have epidermal growth factor or fibroblast growth factor to signal cells in your skin, like in your face, to stimulate collagen cells and their multiplication and differentiation, meaning multiplication, growth of literally collagen cells in your face. So if you're wondering why skin starts to sag or as you age, well, it's the lack of those growth factors that are no longer being produced to stimulate that change, that cellular change, that spark. The same with muscle tissue, which is insulin growth factor 1. With, there's multiple different growth factors. They all have they're all responsible to start these changes within the cells. So that's where human growth hormone comes in. It's the start of that entire process, and it's responsible for metabolism, skin cellular growth, accelerated healing, soft tissue healing like ligaments, tendons, inflammatory response, and even immune function like T cell counts, which are your immuno property cells.
That's really impressive. That really is. And so what happens? So it's aging where it diminishes as we age, correct? HGH.
So basically we have one of the physicians here in Tampa, Florida, that has a really great analogy. And I have to give him credit where credit is due. I did not come up with this, but human growth hormone will decrease every single year after you finish puberty.
Lovely.
You cannot stop it. You cannot stop it. It doesn't matter how good you train. It doesn't matter how good you eat. Your human growth hormone will decrease. It's different decreasing in everybody, different levels. However, it will decrease.
Is that
sometimes
genetic?
It's genetic in every human being. Whose human growth hormone will not decrease.
So if, say, your father keeps his HGH and your mother, chances are longer, you will too.
Sure. There's always extenuating circumstances. In some cases, children are born without growth hormone at all, which is actually how synthetic and pharmaceutical growth hormone was ever created. To get back to the analogy, because I want people to understand how serious this is and overlooked, is that think of it like a paper cut. If you receive a paper cut every single day after you turn 18, let's say on your 18th birthday, every day you receive a paper cut, by age 40, you have lacerations all over your body and you're at massive blood loss. That's exactly what happens with human growth hormone. Is every single day it starts to decrease. And you don't really start to feel it because it's this gradual, slow boil. And then, you turn 40, 45, and all of a sudden you wake up some days and you're like, man, you feel like you hit a wall. You have very little energy. All of a sudden you wake up and you start realizing you have body fat that you can't, get rid of. Typically it's midsection or subcutaneous fat. So they have that loose fat around their midsection people can't get rid of. Or in men, we get love handles around our back. Those are all signs of decreased growth hormone. And we do not, at least in today's medical space, this is a generalization. This is not every physician, but we really overlook we really overlook growth hormone levels. Everybody is focused on testosterone and estrogen, which is important. I'm not discounting that at all, but sometimes, you step over dollars to pick up dimes, and we're prescribing testosterone and estrogen drugs left, right, and center. And we're forgetting that you have to have adequate growth hormone levels to even experience those types of benefits.
But Dustin, isn't it because HGH had a bad rep for a long time?
In the medical space, it really doesn't have a lot of that stigma. The reason why, and this is absolutely an opinion, it is an opinion shared by a lot of people, but I will take this opinion as my own. Human growth hormone as a pharmaceutical drug is becoming harder and harder and harder to get a hold of and get a prescription for. So as drugs go through their life cycle, regulations change, and what certain drugs used to be or can be prescribed for, like the reasons why they are prescribed, are changed. A physician can't, and I'm going through exactly how physicians work, but physicians can't necessarily just prescribe drugs just because they want to. There has to be a reason for those things. And
aging.
I know. If it were only that easy, in certain states, it's very difficult or very expensive, I should say, to acquire these drugs. In California, it is not unheard of for someone to spend $3,000 to $10,000 a month on synthetic HGH treatments.
I've heard that. Yeah. That's crazy.
So Dustin, you had mentioned earlier that, you can't, the levels drop off. There's really nothing we can do regarding our diets or our exercise levels. How do you have a non-synthetic product if it's not something that I guess we can produce naturally?
So I'm glad that,
I was going to say, which Dustin, I guess, needs to talk about his product.
Oh yeah, it's cool. I love the education part too. But Omar, if I may, I'd like to correct on one thing, which is there are some things that you can do to slow the decrease. What I was meaning was that everyone's growth hormone is going to decrease. It will decrease at different speeds for different individuals. And there are things you can do to slow that decrease naturally. And I think it's important for people to know that first before we always jump to a product. I mean, literally my job is to create and sell products like this, but I like for individuals to always try to offset these types of issues naturally first, or what I should say is with diet, exercise, and lifestyle, and then see if there still is room for an application to help enhance those benefits. The first thing people can do is exercise properly, get enough sleep, and yes, diet and nutrition. Now there's specifics on each one of those if you'd like to get into those, but yes, exercise, diet, and proper sleep will slow that speed of decrease.
If you don't mind, jump into it a little bit, at least topically. What are those things, those lifestyle changes and such?
I'll give a few quick tips, right? Front and center. High intensity interval training is the best type of exercise for increasing and slowing the decreasing of human growth hormone. So high intensity interval training means literally training at high intensity for anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds at a time, with adequate, meaning equal or double the amount of rest following each movement. So if you did 20 seconds of sprints, you would get 20 to 40 seconds of rest inside of that minute, only then to start over again for another round of 20 to 30 seconds of, high intensity. I mean, high intensity means 70 to 90% of your physical output. It should be very difficult. It should not be, thoroughly enjoyable. The enjoyable part should be when it's done, but
it gets harder.
But that is a very strong way to increase your natural levels. Human growth hormone is spurred. Natural secretion is spurred by that type of intense activity. So that is the best way to create more of it naturally. It literally is spiked at the end or during the finishing of those types of intensified workouts. So I highly recommend that. The second way with nutrition is any clean diet is going to help your body to secrete hormone naturally better. We recommend, one of the little tricks is to cut out refined sugars 3 hours before bedtime, because HGH, human growth hormone, is stimulated correspondingly with insulin levels. So your body's natural insulin levels. So if you're eating a bunch of sugar before bed, bedtime is when HGH is naturally secreted the most. You're fluctuating and you're messing with your insulin levels before bedtime. So your maximum ability to secrete your natural human growth hormone will be diminished. So we always recommend
that's a great tip.
Yeah. So you just try there, start there. No donuts before bed,
right.
Try and cut out the sweets. The sweets and the carbs before bed. For the record, I am not an anti-carb guy. I love carbohydrates. I think they have their place, but try and cut them out before 3 hours of bed. It'll help your insulin to be in the appropriate environment to spur natural human growth hormone. The third is, as we stated a little bit before, is sleep. Anytime you do not get adequate sleep, you are spiking a different hormone called cortisol. Cortisol, I'm sure, is a keyword, trigger word for a lot of people. The second cortisol stays at an elevated rate for extended periods of time, all of your hormone secretion is going to go down. People don't realize with every decade as they age, their body naturally starts to get less and less quality sleep. So maximizing your body's ability to get adequate, proper, uninterrupted sleep is paramount to any type of hormone secretion in your body. 70 to 90% of all hormone secretion happens during your sleep. So
I hear the collective sigh.
I know. And it's so, I get people like, it's so crazy to me because people will buy, including my products, people will spend, thousands of dollars on products to help them when getting sleep is free. Like it's right. It's free. Yeah. It's free. And I can tell you how to do it right now and get better sleep and stay asleep longer. And it's, but it's very difficult for people. They have, very taxing schedules but sleep is huge. I highly recommend it. We make a sleep product too to help people out because no matter how many times I say get better sleep, it's very difficult for people to do.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those things that everybody tries, and yet, like you said, the schedules, they have children getting awakened during the night, and so many variables. But
I hear you. I hear you.
So with your product, it is the velvet antler is what deer antler, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and so if you could just give us a rundown of how you create it, because I know people are like, antler.
Yeah, I absolutely. And this is the fun part about my job. So we use American elk antlers, and there's a reason for that. Number one, antlers are the only fully regenerating organ in the entire mammalian animal kingdom, meaning as a mammal, it is the only organ that will fully regenerate every single year. Okay. So antlers grow in every year. They fall out every year. They're for mating purposes, meaning the male cervidaean species, meaning antler bearing mammals, will grow their antlers in. What did you think?
I thought it happened once in their life as teenagers.
Every single year.
Wow, that's interesting.
No,
okay.
Every single year. So we use American elk. Those antlers will grow 1 to 2 inches a day, faster than grass. Like it's crazy. They grow in every single year and they fall out every single year. They use them for mating purposes. They use them to literally fight other males for mating rights. They use it to do those things. Anyway, they grow in every single year. Like I said, 1 to 2 inches a day, and they are a living, breathing, coursing with what are called growth factors organ. And so before they harden, because they grow in soft cartilage like tissue inside of velvet. And before they hit later in the year, closer to the fall, which is their mating season, those antlers will harden, or what is called calcify. The velvet will come off, and now they are hardened like a bone. So if you remove them or have access to them before they calcify, those antlers are full of what we talked about earlier, which are called growth factors. So remember, growth factors are the end result of human growth hormone. They are the protein cytokines, the cell signals that tell the body to grow, to change, to cause a cellular change. So those antlers are full of stem cell proteins, platelets, growth factors, all of these living, like it's like this incredible vat, like this energy source of all of these incredible things that are literally what creates our bodies, what causes positive change, that is responsible for all of these functions and benefits that we're all looking for. So you can extract those antlers and you can pull that living material out from them. And as a human being, you can ingest those growth factors and cause those cellular signal changes that you want to see, that you're not making anymore, right? Because human growth hormone is decreasing, sometimes by 50% by 35, like half, completely gone by 35. So you're not creating those growth factors anymore, which is why your body starts to change. You can see it in the mirror. So what we do is we take, and this is all done very humanely, by the way. I would like to add that these animals live 4 to 7 years longer on the farm than they do in the wild. So their quality of life is actually better. So we can extract these materials. You can take them as a human being directly into your system. They're molecularly identical. So they're exact same as what your body makes. So now you are adding these cellular signals that your body's not making much of anymore to create those change. So that's how we do it.
How did you stumble upon this? This is so out of left field.
Omar, I wish I came up with this stuff, but this isn't like a secret. This has been done by very, very high level. I mean, entire nations in Eastern Europe and in Asia have been using this type of science for decades. In fact, even in Japan, they use a specific type of growth factor from a specific type of animal to actually try and reanimate severed human limbs. Like, it's this powerful. There is more science behind growth factor use in offsetting, preventing, fixing all different types of human ailments. There's a lot of science actually for neurological application as well, from Parkinson's to ALS to traumatic brain injury, CTE, ocular seizures, that type of stuff. It's really, really cool.
Like nerve growth factor.
You got it. Nerve growth factor. So nerve growth factor can actually regrow human nerves up to 6 millimeters, meaning spinal injuries. There's really big stuff here. I wish I created it. All I did was take something that existed and we just make it better.
So having said that, then, is there a risk of abuse then by, say, bodybuilders or people that are athletes, for example?
Yeah. With synthetic drugs, yes, 100%. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's where we come in. We do not do anything synthetic. Our entire purpose as a company is to offer individuals and human beings alternatives to synthetic pharmaceutical drugs. Because with pharmaceutical drugs, there is cause and there's issues with abuse, with massive amounts of side effects. And sometimes they cause more harm than they do good. With our products, because it's 100% molecularly the same, it's identical to what your body already produces. You cannot overdose. You cannot take too much. Your body just uses what it can and it excretes what it cannot through urine or sweat. So believe me, we have taken a lot. We have purposely tried to take as much as we can over the last few years. It's not possible just because your body will excrete what it's not going to use.
That's interesting. Where in injectable form, the pharmaceutical form, it just stayed in the body?
What do you mean?
The injectable form, the pharmaceutical form you'd have to get from the doctor.
Yeah.
That the thousands of dollars version is
there issues with that?
Is there storage of it in the body? Yeah.
Well, your body's gonna use it, but there are a lot of issues with it. And the issue, the primary issue is, and the one people should be most concerned about, depending upon where they're at in their life and the benefits they're looking for, is it causes what's called negative feedback loop. Negative feedback loop simply means when you give yourself a synthetic drug or an exogenous hormone and you replace what your body is already making, like testosterone, human growth hormone, estrogen, your body will naturally shut off its natural production, because it's sensing that, hey, I'm already getting this hormone. I'm already making, and it's in your head, it's already making it. So why would it make more? That's why when people start these testosterone therapies and these growth hormone therapies or any of these other therapies, I don't think enough weight is put on when they're making a decision that, hey, you have to be on this the rest of your life, because once you start down this road, if you continue, you will not make your natural hormone anymore.
Oh, so, that's a really important point.
So people don't realize that. And
yeah,
like some people don't like me too much because I focus on that stuff. I don't take synthetic drugs. I do not take synthetic hormones. I'm 37 years old. I absolutely, there's plenty of doctors that will prescribe you whatever you want. I live in Florida, so it's on every street corner. We are the land of anti-aging clinics, cash pay, True. Walk in, and it's great for what they're there for. Doesn't mean that there's not bad apples in any industry or any bunch, but in my own world, in my own personal worldview, I think it's very important that individuals know what they are embarking on, because that, when you say it that bluntly of like, hey, you're going to have to be on this forever. Well, the individual should know that. When you come off and you stop taking that drug, they don't tell you have to take 3 other drugs to offset what your body did. So as a man, you have to take, if you take testosterone and you have to do all this cycling and all this crazy stuff of on and off and all these things, you get the one drug, the TRT, and then you have to take 3 drugs on top of that to stop very specific physiological things from happening. Men will physically grow breasts. So you have to take drugs to offset that. And the same with women. So when you're a female and you're taking different hormone therapies, especially through menopause, depending upon what your levels are, your physician may give you testosterone and estrogen and different hormones. Well, if you don't follow the protocol, very specifically, women can grow facial hair. They can, I think it's fair to weigh the benefits and the consequences.
The benefits of testosterone versus the facial hair.
Yeah.
That really would be a deal breaker for me.
Or even fertility. That is one that people never talk about. And even with bioidentical pellets, which are supposed to be the safer alternative, I don't believe that that's entirely true. But they don't tell these guys, especially younger guys. And when I say younger, I mean, late 30s. I don't think men in their late 30s, unless it's an extenuating circumstance, should be, starting on this journey just yet. But they start taking these every year, younger and younger and younger people are starting hormone therapies. Well, then they wake up one day and they wonder why they can't have children. There is a massive infertility issue with taking synthetic hormones too early. You have to be absolutely prepared that this may heavily impact your ability to procreate. And for some people, that's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really a great point. Yeah.
So Dustin, specifically, how does HGH help in the fat loss world?
Sure, absolutely. So HGH, again, is transformed it's metabolized into specific growth factors. So when we speak about different functions or different benefits, I like to focus on what growth factor does that, because that's the cellular signaling device that's going to tell the body to do something. In that case, in that respect, we would be looking at insulin-like growth factor 1, which is one of the predominant growth factors that is immediately created from HGH metabolization. Insulin growth factor 1 is really cool, and it is responsible for a lot of things, anything from muscle recovery and accelerated healing to actually your insulin levels. So how your body utilizes blood sugar. So when we start to see weight gain in aging men and women, especially women, most of the time we can directly relate that or tie that to improper or poor blood sugar utilization, or what we like to call, or what's very popular these days, is insulin sensitivity issues. Meaning, over the course of the years, your body no longer is using insulin or responding to insulin the right way. And for those of people who don't really know what insulin is, I'll make it super simple. Insulin tells your body how to use food. So the food that you eat, insulin tells you to store it as fat or to use it as an energy source. If your body is not sensitive, meaning it's not easily triggered by the insulin being created, your body will store the food that you eat as fat. Insulin sensitivity issues come from, and we'll focus on women because this is something I think if women knew more about this, they would pause a little bit before making some of these decisions. But in this country, and I can only speak for this country, women are heavily prescribed birth control and antidepressants way more than men are. I mean, I don't know many men that take birth control today's day and age. Maybe they do. I don't know. I've never met a guy that takes birth control, but
well, we have to look at our emojis first.
Oh, please. I mean, don't get me started.
That's changing rapidly.
Yeah, exactly. So like a year ago, I could be like, well, I don't know, no dude takes birth control. These days, who knows, man? They'll give you birth control just to give you birth control. But anyway, birth control absolutely impacts over the course of, extended use, which most women who take birth control are on it for decades. Absolutely impacts. And this is not hidden science. This isn't something I came up with. You can Google this, you can figure it out. It's very common. It's very well known. Massively impacts your body's ability to use insulin and causes massive insulin sensitivity issues. Meaning if you've been taking birth control, and the same is for antidepressants, by the way, it is absolutely very well known statistics that women are heavily prescribed antidepressants over men, or men choose not to use them. Whatever the case is, women are way more dominant in using pharmaceutical antidepressants, which do exactly the same thing I'm about to tell you, which is they cause your body's ability to be sensitive to insulin way less, meaning insulin sensitivity issues, or what we like to say is insulin resistance. If you are insulin resistant, your body will store fat before it uses the energy as food. It's literally that simple.
Really, 88% of our country is insulin resistant. And,
there you go.
And they don't even know it. Yeah.
No idea. And that is automatically tied to sexual dysfunction as well. So in men, like erectile dysfunction, automatically tied to insulin resistance and diabetes. People don't even know that. But yeah, so insulin resistance is huge. If you are insulin resistant, good luck trying to lose weight. I mean, it's a lot of those people. It's like, man, and we get these questions through the website and like our Instagram. I have to say every day, like literally today, I remember a woman was, because I field a lot of these questions. A lot of these emails make it to me. I'm 56. I can't seem to lose weight. I'm doing everything. I'm eating, I'm exercising, blah, blah, blah. And it's the same story every single time. And it's insulin resistance. Have you been using this drug? Have you been using this? Have you, what is your lifestyle like? And every time you can just check off every single box, and people are struggling with this. And it's because nobody told them this 20 years ago, right? Whether they knew it or not. I mean, this started 20 years ago. So to get back to Omar's question, how does HGH help us? Or how does supplementation of something like this help metabolism and fat loss? Well, insulin, like growth factor 1, the direct end result of human growth hormone, which diminishes with age, massively impacts insulin sensitivity and blood sugar utilization. So patients or users with very low IGF-1 levels in their body, what you would say is IGF-1 serum levels, meaning the IGF-1 present in your bloodstream at very low levels, is directly related to blood sugar utilization problems and insulin resistance. So if you can get those levels back to their optimal number or their level, you immediately can see a change in not only fat loss, but my favorite part about my job is around day 12 or 14 of when certain people use the product that are suffering from something like this. They have no idea what's going on, and they'll email or they'll message us or they'll call the office, and they'll be like day 12 or 14. They're like, I feel like I've been shot out of a cannon. I feel better than I ever have. And if for some reason it's right in that 1 to 2 week time, it takes your body to kind of reset and to adjust. And once their body starts to utilize their food better, or they start to improve those blood sugar utilization, not only does weight loss become a lot easier, but because their body uses that food the right way, their energy goes through the roof, and it reduces cortisol, which is the stress hormone caused by a lot of these issues.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm really excited to take a little more of a dive into it. I obviously did some research on this before the show, but it really is amazing to hear all the other benefits that I didn't even get to, honestly. So one of the things that I think to kind of wrap up the show that I would love for you to try to at least explain to the audience is how long, do we have to stay on this? You did mention, like, even with the synthetic drugs, there's a compromise in us having to take it forever. And is this a specific type of thing that is like dosed for so to basically get to where you need to go and then stop? How does that work?
That is I think you're kind of, a lot of times people are looking for an objective answer to a subjective question, meaning I can't give you an overall generalized answer to that because each individual is subjective to what the benefits that they're looking for. So if I may, what I'll say is depending upon the symptoms that you are trying to offset and or fix, that is a different answer. If you're trying to lose weight and you lose the weight, and you're happy with the weight that you've lost, you can stop using the product. It's fine. You don't have to take a drug to offset. You would just you're not going to have those growth factors anymore, but you're not going to magically gain the weight back unless your lifestyle and diet changes. I can't help people if they, they're on it for 3 months and then go back to eating pizza and drinking 2 liters all day. No one can stop that, but you can stop as soon as you want to. There's nothing that's going to negatively impact you and like hit you in the face if you decide, I'm done this month. Okay, cool. Would I say that that's the most common response? No, people stay on this stuff for years, and it's not because they have to. They just love it. I mean, years. So you don't have to stop. You don't need to stop, but you also don't have to stay on it. It's absolutely dependent upon the benefits that you're getting and what you'd like to continue with. If you're assuming,
go ahead.
No, sorry. Please.
I was just going to say, I'm assuming that you take it, right? Consistently.
100%. So most people actually don't know this. I've been taking it since 2014.
Wow.
I was a normal user before. I'm actually one of the principal owners of the entire, of the parent company as well that owns BioProtein Technology. We make a bunch of other stuff, but, I was a user of BioProtein Technology products and formulas well before we acquired the company. So I was a user just like everybody else. And my business partner my business partner now, at the time, he was a mentor and a good friend of mine. And we worked out in the same gym, and we were both users of the product. He's a decade older than I am. Don't tell him I said that on air. He's a decade older than him. But we were like, one day we kind of looked at each other because we both used it. We both bought it. And, it was him who I believe who said, it was like, what are we doing here? Like, why don't more people know about this stuff? How do we get our hands on it? Like, how do we bring this? Because we're both businessmen. I mean, we're entrepreneurs across a few different things. And it was like, how do we get our hands on this stuff so everybody like has access to this? Because I'm very proud because it's ours now. Absolutely. But even back then, I'd tell you the same thing. I mean, it's a phenomenal product. It's really cool. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't have put our money where our mouth is and literally, did what we did to acquire the brand entirely.
Oh, that's great stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you just brought it today in terms of giving everybody an option in terms of optimizing their health. And that's really what we're all here for, is to create better health, and weight loss just happens to be a byproduct of that. So really, 100%. Dustin, thank you. Dustin Baker, the president of BioProtein Technology.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. It was actually very fun. You guys let me do my thing. I had a great time on your show. Thank you so much.
No, we loved having you. But before you go, please let us know, obviously your website, your social media handles. I know you're active on a bunch of different platforms. So I want to give you the opportunity to talk about that and share as well.
Oh, thank you so much. So if you guys have any questions or anybody listening wants to check us out, which I hope you should do, you can go to our website. It's bioproteintech.com. That's BioProteintech.com. And if you want real-time, like super fast feedback, you can always go to our Instagram. That's where we're most active. but more importantly, that's where our users are most active. So
and that's biotech at
BioProtein Tech at BioProtein Tech.
Okay.
So at BioProtein TECH. And even if it's something like you have questions on and it might not be for us, or you need to speak to a medical physician, we are more than happy to answer those questions and to point you in the right direction, even if it has nothing to, that's completely outside of our scope. We just want people to get what they need and do it safely and do it in the right way.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So Dustin, have a great rest of your day.
I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much again for having me on.
Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of This Podcast Burns Fat. We're so excited to have you as a listener, and we're hoping that you really enjoyed the content as well. And if you did, please run over to iTunes and provide a rating and or review. It will go a long way in helping us continuously build our listenership up so that we can provide you with excellent content regarding fat loss, weight management, and just an overall healthy lifestyle. Thanks so much. Have a great night.